and from Tibetan Women Association. My name is Dorkar Thamo. Dr. Vandana Shivaji, China's policy of forcing tens of thousands of nomads into permanent exile in their own homeland and severely restricting the movement of most of the remaining nomads are essential to sustaining the long-term health of ecosystem and water resources that China so desperately depends on. And Dr. as you have said that an in-depth look at the meltdown of the glacier and this permafrost on the Tibetan Plateau and the Himalayan region and its global impact, threatening the water supply for millions of downstream across much of the rest of Asia. So my small question is that how significant do you think the Tibetan Plateau is for global climate change and for pastoralism? Thank you.
If you look at the planet from the point of view of human beings and their concentration, I think the Tibetan Plateau is probably the most significant ecosystem because the waters from the Himalaya support half of humanity, 40% very directly. And if we put the Tibetan Plateau at risk, we are putting all the people who are supported by the rivers that flow out of the mountains at risk. But because of the particular geopolitics of Tibet, we need to find new ways in how to get the government of China to be more responsible for the planet and the people all around. And I know if we don't make a shift, we're going to have wars around the Himalayan rivers. Already the Brahmaputra-Sarangpo diversion has been admitted by the Chinese. Keeping pastoralism alive anywhere is very, very important. Because whether you look at Sudan or you look at Rajasthan, dry areas are able to distribute the pressure on land through pastoralism. Where you have a lot of water, you have settled agriculture. Where you have very little water, you have pastoralism. And because Tibet is a high altitude desert, pastoralism is the only way to live sustainably. We have to celebrate nomadic pastoralism as a way to have a very small and light footprint on the planet. But we are, and I think this is relevant to Mongolia too, it's relevant to most places where pastoralists are being forced to lose their way of life and are being imprisoned, literally, and being forced into settlements. And this is part of an assault on the cultural diversity that is necessary, whether it's as fishers, or it's as pastoralists, or it's as small farmers, or it's as weavers. All of these multiple occupations need to be kept alive because the fossil fuel run slave factories will not run forever as fossil fuel runs out.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Dorothy from Papua New Guinea. I work to try and protect forests on the island of New Guinea, which has the third largest rainforest on Earth. As you all know, thank you very much for your inspiring words, both of you. I have been stroked by your inspiring words, and I can't express myself well, and I'm normally not like that, but I've read about you, and I've also followed Tuvalu's position on climate change. My concerns are about the destruction of forests in the region. As you know, Papua New Guinea and also Indonesia, which is home of the third largest rainforest on Earth, is being destroyed by illegal and destructive logging and conversion of this rainforest to oil palm. As you said, rightly said, it's a sick oil or sick food. What can we suggest? What can you two suggest to us to do as people's movement, as environmental movement, to get our governments to think about the fact that not only our lives, but the lives of the children that are still to be born is dependent on how we or those people in positions make the decision now. I am saying this because Papua New Guinea has one of, and probably the most corrupt government in the region. Papua New Guinea is also co-chair for the international, the Coalition on Rainforest Nations at the UN CCC and all the UN RED process and discussions that you go to. And yet back home, Papua New Guinea is allowing the destruction of forests. And international forum, it's trying to lead, but lead us to where? So my concern is about this 20% or 18 to 20% emission that comes from the forest destruction. What can we do as a region that holds this third largest rainforest in the world?
Thank you, Dorothy. A very heartfelt plea for forests there.
Yes, I did mention in my speech that the deforestation is an issue, and as mentioned, is widely discussed in the process that there must be a carbon market for trading. And we can, I would suggest that we must make sure that whatever agreement is going to be reached in the COP has to be something that will not corrupt the government or any government for getting revenue or income for deforestation without its forest being cut down. We support the cutting of few trees for what purpose? Creating a small village or a purpose that is useful for the people in the village. We do not support the cutting down of trees on a commercial basis, because of course, as we all know, that will create more carbon and create increase in problem that we are trying to avoid. The other issue that I want to mention here, along with this deforestation, is if a country is to be compensated for not cutting down its forest, that same problem will still be experienced by the importers or the buyers of the timber shifting from that country to another country. And the problem will still be there. So we really have to make sure whatever that is agreed has to be enforced and monitored by some agency that's going to be agreed in an agreement internationally. That's what I think.
Thank you. And I might just put in there that one of our jobs as Greens is where there are corrupt governments is to replace them. Big task.